Hey, you guys, welcome to another episode of A Despo's Garden. I am so happy you decided to tune in this week, to tune into this episode in particular because something very, very interesting just recently happened. I ran into a friend of a friend, so a mutual friend, and I seen him. I was about to get in my car, and I ran into him, and he couldn't hear me, and I didn't know. I couldn't remember his name, and so my first instinct was to just run up to him, because part of me was like, I don't have him on any social media. I don't know where he lives. Like, I may never run into him again, but I just really wanted to ask him this question. So I asked him, have you spoke to Jane? We're just gonna say that's her name. Have you spoke to Jane? And he was like, yeah, I have spoke to Jane, and a lot. Have you spoke to Jane? And he's like, no, we have not spoken in a very long time. And then he kind of goes on to tell me that Jane totaled her car, and he started to say, that a lot has happened, a lot has transpired, but then the bus came, the shuttle came, and so he couldn't finish what he was saying. But he kind of just he told me everything. He told me everything I needed to know, and it was what I asked. Have you spoken to Jane? Have y'all been in contact? And when he said yes, I was like, wow, okay. So the ego me and where I'm at now, me from a year ago to where I'm at now, my response to that is definitely different. What I mean by that is, initially I wanted to hit her up and be like, well, how are you? Send a voice message or a FaceTime and kind of just let her know that I ran into her friend, and just kind of let her know how I felt, that we haven't been talking. I thought maybe, you needed some space, but kind of to know that, you're okay and everything, all is well. You're going on about your regular life. And I'm just, I was trying to, tell the rest of my story or how I felt. That's what I wanted to initially do. But then I thought about it on the car ride home. But instead, I took that moment for exactly what it was supposed to be, a learning lesson. Remember that saying, stay around people who inspire you, or that saying, people who feel threatened by you, or people whose energy you shouldn't be around. They'll disappear, they'll drop like flies, they'll ghost you, and you'll kind of wonder why at first, but then, later on down the road, everything was, laid out in front of you, and it was supposed to be that way. I asked him, a simple question. How you guys spoke? And he started telling me about all the series of unfortunate events that Jane been going through. Not a good friend. You shouldn't do that. None of my business, though. But it kind of let me know, okay, you were in a spot in your life that you just felt it made you more comfortable not having me a part of that. And some friends push good people away when they're going through a rough patch and pull certain people closer, and that's how the saying goes, misery loves company. And maybe I just wasn't miserable enough or willing to stay miserable. Thank you all for joining me for yet another episode of Adespa's Garden. If you're not already subscribed, please consider joining the garden. Here I'm just showing a hair moisturizer I made featuring shea butter. If you're not already subscribed, subscribe so you won't miss any updates that I do for my skin and hair products. And have a good day.